Hi, Joseph Rittenhouse here. Today I'm going to make a fun little video. I've wanted to do it for a while where I'm just going to talk about my backpack. My backpack that I take with me everywhere around the world. I got this JanSport backpack so long ago that I don't even remember where I got it or how long I've had it. I can't remember. I crashed on a scooter in Indonesia right there, and that's where I ripped part of it. Great backpack, I love it. But I'm a property investor, I'm a landlord, and I don't really work in an office right now. So it's important for me to keep managing my money and planning what I'm going to do with my money and how I'm going to get new property and what I'm going to do with old property. I need to have the capability to print documents, to sign documents, to write down my ideas, to plan. And I have everything that I need in my backpack. To start with the big stuff, I have my computer, my Dell Computer. I got it specifically for the cafe and travel life that I have right now. I didn't need a big battery. I just needed something that was good for watching videos, has a 4K screen. I've had it for many years. I've had this thing for at least 3 years. I got it when the 4K screens were just coming out. And even now, a lot of Wi-Fi's cannot keep up with this 4K screen because the Wi-Fi is not fast enough to give me 4K quality. So the screen is ahead of its time, and I got a smaller battery because I knew I would always be around a cafe or an airport power plug or someplace where I could charge up the battery. Nice thing about this computer is I can have the screen closed and it still has audio going out, so I can be listening to some sort of educational talk or podcast or something like that. Also, with it closed, I still have power. So this acts as a battery for my phones, where I can plug them in here USB, and I still get power for about 4 charges on a phone to charge it all the way up to 100%. This guy is the most important thing that I keep is my notebook, because I write down my thoughts and ideas here. Also, I keep track of my money, equity here. I use this almost every other day. You should do something like this too. Use it weekly or definitely monthly, at least monthly. But I write down how much cash I have, how much credit I have, how much credit I'm using up right now. Also, very importantly, I write down how much money I owe every month to cover my credit, money that I've put on credit cards. I also write out my financial plan here, 2 years. I like to have a 2-year plan going out, what I'm going to do for the next 2 years. And you need pen and paper to write it down so that you're using your hand to write it over and over and over again. And this is one of the most fundamental things that people don't do. They don't want to. You spent so many years learning how to read and write, and then they don't want to do it now. And it's a very powerful thing. You need to write it out by hand, because something happens when you write it out by hand, your financial plan, because it just you go slowly and you see what you're doing, whether it's good or bad, effective or ineffective. In addition to my computer and notebook, I'll usually have a book with me in my backpack. I usually have a book. This one is The Shallows, What the Internet's Doing to Our Brains. It's psychology, it's learning, which is closely tied to financial education. In my backpack recently, I've also started carrying my Kindle, which I got in Vietnam. It's nice. I'm still getting used to it. I'm not a big electronic reader person because I really prefer books and I prefer writing by hand. But the nice thing about this is if I run out of books, I can always be reading something, and I would rather read from this than a computer screen because of the lighting and stuff like that. And as long as I have Wi-Fi and power, I can be reading any book in the world just about. So I don't not like it, but I'm still getting used to it. So I keep my Kindle with me now too all the time. I always have something to do. Always have something to read or write, something to read. I can always watch videos on my computer. I have all these cables because I have charging my Kindle, charging my phones. I have 2 phones now. I have my Huawei phone that I got in Vietnam for $250, and I have my iPhone 5S. That's what you're watching me on right now. I have my headphones, always have multiple headphones just in case one is lost or you forget it at home or it's broken. I have my battery here. I also have a cable to keep my battery charged. So there's never an excuse to not be reading or studying something. And then I have a mouse because some of the programs I use, like Photoshop or Illustrator, or some of the games, video games I play like Age of Empires, the mouse is better. You can't play games with your fingers on the keyboard. I don't like that. Pins, you always have to have multiple pins because a pin will dry up. Also, you forget pins, you lose pins, or maybe somebody is with you who's also studying with you and they don't have a pin. So I always have multiple pins. Going back to headphones, I always have multiple headphones because you forget one on the bed, or the person you're studying with, they forget their headphones. So I always have multiple. I like to call it my auxiliary headphones, my backup headphones, just in case. That's about it. Oh, USB. I need this USB drive because I'll get documents, something I need to sign, and I need to put it on here and go find someone who has a printer to print it out. FedEx store. Nice thing about other countries is other cultures, it's not as strange for me to just come up to anyone and say, hey, do you have a printer? Can I pay you some money? Can you print this out for me? They'll be like, yeah, sure. So in another country like China or Vietnam, anyone who has a printer, say a place where they do photography, I can just walk up with my USB drive and say, here's some money, can I print it out? And they'll be like, yes. In America, if I walk into just some random store, it's a different culture. And they're like, no, we're not a printing store. Only a certain store that does certain things can do those things. And in other countries, it's just like, if I got this and I got money, I can print anywhere. So I need this for printing documents, and then I'll use Microsoft, not OneDrive. It turns pictures into PDFs, and so I can download with my computer, sign the documents after I've printed them on my USB, then take a picture of them and send them back to America. So that's what makes my backpack so special. It's my mobile office. I can be anywhere in the world and studying. I have my power cable for my computer as well. And you can live anywhere in the world. That's what's so cool about being a property investor, is you can be anywhere in the world. As long as I have my stuff, I'm always busy, always can be busy. I'm never really wasting time. Then I like to have fun with it. I like to take my backpack to my mobile office, and I like to go to a truck stop, or go to a quiet place, or go to a mall. So I have everything I need here, always something to do, never an excuse for just sitting around watching videos on my phone, because that's interesting, but after a while you need to start to read and write. From the Lake Mead Recreation Area, I will see you in the next video.